Ladies and gentlemen, I think social media is not meant for children and we should remove it.
Who did you
Senator,
fire?
Yeah, I said you mischaracterized.
37% of teenage girls between 13 and 15 were exposed to unwanted nudity in a week on Instagram. You knew about it. Who did you fire?
Senator, this is why we're building all.
Who
these
did you
different
fire?
Tools. Senator, I don't think that's.
Who did you fire?
I'm not going to answer that.
Damn.
Because
Because you didn't fire anybody, right? You didn't take any significant
I don't think
action.
it's appropriate to talk about like
It's not
individual
appropriate.
HR decisions.
Do you know who's sitting behind you? You've got families from across the nation whose children are either severely harmed or gone, and you don't think it's appropriate to talk about steps that you took? The fact that you didn't fire a single
happy
person?
to-
Let me
happy
ask
to
you
talk
this.
about
Let me ask you
steps
this.
that we took.
Have you
If you'd like to
compensated
speak.
any of the victims?
Sorry,
Have you compensated any of the victims? These girls, have you compensated them?
I don't believe so.
Why not? Don't you think they deserve some compensation for what your platform has done? Help with
Senator-
counseling services? Help with dealing with the issues that your services caused?
Our job is to make sure that we build tools to help keep people safe.
Are you
across
going
our
to
platform.
compensate them?
Senator, our job and what we take seriously is making sure that we build industry-leading tools to find harmful
To make
content,
money.
take it off the services,
To make money.
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you
that
didn't
help
take
work-
any action. You didn't
That's
take
not
any
true,
action.
Senator.
You didn't fire anybody. You haven't
not true.
compensated a
That's
single
not-
victim.
that's
Let
not
me
what I
ask you
said.
this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well-
They're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that you have all gone through. It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered.
I'm sorry what you have gone through. Nobody should go through that. And we're doing an effort so nobody has to go through that again. And I'm like, interesting. Did you fire the people that didn't do a good job? No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That is why we need to talk about Instagram. Because Instagram, I believe, has been bought by Facebook. And they're doing a better job instead of firing people, right?
Instagram also displayed the following warning screen to individuals who were searching for child abuse material. These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users two choices: get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
All right, Senator. The basic science behind that is that when people are searching for something that is problematic, it's often helpful to, rather than just blocking it, to help direct them towards something that that could be helpful
No.
to get help.
In what,
And we
I
also-
understand get resources. In what sane universe is there a link for see results anyway?
Well, because we might be wrong. We try to trigger this warning, or we tried to, when we think that there's any chance that the results
Okay, you might be
harmful.
wrong. Let me ask you, how many times was this warning screen displayed?
I don't know, but the
You don't know. Why don't you know?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head.
Right.
If somebody says there is abuse against ladies, do you want to watch it? Or do you want to read this article how feminists need to represent themselves and how you can be part of that? I don't think you would agree with that, right? So why the heck do you want to even normalize it for kids? Why is the public deciding that? It should be you, Facebook. Be gangster, right? You're a private platform. You're not liable for the things being posted, right? Of course, nobody's going to do their job.
Why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
In short, web platforms aren't liable for what the users post. If content is posted by a Facebook user is defamatory, obscene, or harmful to another person, the user can be sued, but Facebook cannot. That rule is very different from the standards for other publishers.
Oh my God, will you let it go?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
Well,
are
try this
serious
again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at
and
that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims? You're a billionaire. Will you commit to compensating the victims? Will you set up a compensation fund
Senator,
with your
I
money?
think these are
With your money.
complicated- Senator, these are complicated
Yes,
issues.
that's not a complicated question, though. That's a
Senator,
yes or no.
this
Will
is-
you set up a victims compensation fund with your money, the money you made on these families sitting behind you? Yes or no?
Senator, I don't think that's my job is to
Sounds
make
like
sure
a
we
no.
build good tools. My
Sounds
job
like a
is
no.
to make sure that
Your job is to be responsible for what your company has done. You've made billions of dollars on the people sitting behind them. Are you here? You've done nothing to help them. You've done nothing to compensate them. You've done nothing to put it right. You could do so here today, and you should. You should, Mr. Zuckerberg.
Everywhere that kids had cell phones, mental health declined, and pretty much at the exact rate that they were getting cell phones. There's also the rise of victim culture in schools, which teaches young people that nothing is ever their fault. They're always oppressed. They're always a victim. They've been trained to see themselves that way. As Jean Twang writes in her book, Monitoring the Future, many more young people have an external locus of control, quote unquote, as compared to the 1970s. Now that means that they believe that they don't have control over their lives, which is a feeling that leads to higher instances of depression and anxiety. And this is what people are trained to believe these days. So this has been a trend for some time. But again, in the chart, you see a massive spike around 2012 when most young people got smartphones for the first time.
So would you please explain to me and to all these parents why explicit predatory content does not violate your platform's terms of service or your community standards?
Sure, Senator. Let me try to address all the things that you just said. It does violate our standards. We work very hard to take it down.
Didn't take it down.
We've reported, I think it's more than 26 million examples of this kind of content.
Didn't
to
take it
people
down
to
until a
nitpick.
congressional staffer brought it up.
It may be that in this case we made a mistake and missed something.
I
but
think
we
you
have-
make a lot of
but
mistakes,
we
so
have,
let's
we have
move
leading
on.
teams that
I want to
identify
talk
more than-
with you about your Instagram Creators Program and about the push. We found out through these documents that you actually are pushing forward because you want to bring kids in early. You see these younger teenagers as valuable but an untapped audience, quoting from the emails, and suggesting teens are actually household influencers to bring their younger siblings into your platform, into Instagram. Now, how can you ensure that Instagram creators, your product, your program, does not facilitate illegal activities when you fail to remove content pertaining to the sale of minors? And it is happening once every 2 minutes in this country.
Senator, our tools for identifying that kind of content are industry leading. That doesn't mean we're perfect. There are definitely issues that we have, but we continue to
Mr.
invest a ton in
Zuckerberg,
it. I think-
yes, there are a lot that is slipping through. It appears that you're trying to be the premier sex trafficking
Of course
site
not, Senator.
in this
Senator,
country.
that's ridiculous.
No, it
Senator,
is not ridiculous.
of
You
course
want
we
to
don't
turn
want
around
this-
and
we don't
tell
want
these
this
people
content
that.
on our platforms, and we-
Why don't you take it down?
We do take it
We
down.
are here discussing.
We do
We
more
need
work to
you
take it
all
down
to
than-
work
than-
with
than-
us.
than-
No, you're not. You are not. And the problem is, we've been working on this. Senator Welch is over there. We've been working on this stuff for a decade. You have an army of lawyers and lobbyists that have fought us on this every step of the way. You work with NetChoice, the Cato Institute, Taxpayers Protection Alliance, and Chamber of Progress to actually fight our bipartisan legislation to keep kids safe online. So are you going to stop funding these groups? Are you going to stop lobbying against this and come to the table and work with us? Yes or no?
Senator, we have a...
Yes or no?
Of course we'll work with you on the legislation.
Okay,
I mean,
the
it's
door
been hard
is
to-
open. We've got all these bills. You need to come to the table.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, I hope I can gain one of your likes and a comment. Let me know what you think about the whole situation. I got a bunch of videos over here, and right here I have a news report of the last Denny's in California. I wonder why.